pay for content in India. So when I said this to my board, they were like apprehensive, oh, people may not pay for content. I said, why don't we test it? Then I started conducting something called Financial Freedom Workshop. It was a day-long workshop where I used to meet people in person, and they used to pay and attend the workshop. Per person, 3,000 rupees per day, where I used to just train them on 5 things we do with money. We earn, save, spend, invest, and borrow. Right? These are the 5 things we do with money. So I was conducting this training that was going pretty well, and I personally conducted 28 workshops between 3rd of November 2019 till 6th of March 2020. And by then the COVID cases increased. We had to call off the scheduled workshops. So I personally met 7,000 people, and when I met these people, they taught me that it's not that we don't know how to manage money, we don't have enough money to manage. Tell us how to make money. So
fantastic.
Then I kind of came back to board and said, we are not going to launch a financial education app, but we're going to launch livelihood education app. So we're going to not, teach people how to make enough money. And that's how we started thinking about it, because India has about 15 crore farming families.
15 crores.
15 crore families dependent on farming. There are about 8 crore small business owners who employ less than 2 people. And then there are about 20 crore women who are homemakers not earning. So we thought this is the opportunity to upskill them. Because I was just, telling you offline before this that our education system post-independence has not done any innovation to identify historically what created employment in India. Like what kind of work has created millions of jobs in India. So if you look at it, farming created millions of jobs. But unfortunately, India has only 63 agriculture, horticulture related universities, and most of the students who study there are not even from farming family. And the competition to get there is very tough. If you have literally 60% of your population dependent on farming, just imagine how many colleges should be there to train people on farming. Only then farming can get better. Similar way, handicrafts. Handicraft is globally $1 trillion market. But how many institutions do we have? You don't have to do any favor to them. You create an ecosystem where they can strive, and grow. That is important. So unfortunately, we are doing opposite. We keep calling farmers as annadatas, artisans as, they are not doing good. No, I belong to I believe that we should empower them. Give them all the strength they need. Show them the ways. Artisans' products are not being, they don't price their product. It is decided by someone else. That should not happen. Only then people will start working, thinking from that angle.
Price, in terms of even e-commerce, the price is the competitive part at the moment. It has not moved to the price pyramid to the value pyramid. So when we look at future, when we look at technology, when we look at handmade and handicraft, what is your idea about this future, or how do you see this future coming up?
Absolutely, I think tech can play a big role in help improving the lifestyle or livelihood of these artisans. The first one is helping them predict the demand for their work. Today, unfortunately, most of them don't know what has got demand in the global market, what has got demand even in their local market. That is not known to them. You do private labeling. So some big brands, they ask you to manufacture, they ask you to procure from artisans, and you give it to them and they take the credit, they do private. Second one is you market in your own brand, you get the maximum share, but you don't have your own outlets and things like that. There is no encouragement. So now today, if you have to place your product in some shop, you have to even pay them rack space charges. So you don't even get the space. Today when I was talking to Iti, she spoke about, I don't even let the artisans sit on ground. We want them to be treated with respect. We give them that kind of accommodation. Which is important. But then how do we create that in a stable way? Because expose exhibitions happens once in a while.
Correct.
It can't be done every day, right?
Correct.
So now, if we have to create it, tech can play a big role in helping them set up their shops, giving them the identity. Tech should, those who know tech should co-create along with artisans. It is not to exploit.
So co-creation is another word, which he's talking about. Very important because I think this is always in conceptual context. People talk about co-creation, but it actually does not happen, right? Now we have, interestingly, we have students, we have craft entrepreneurs, we have also, one of the important thing is craft sector is where, you find a combination of people. So artisan is one community, students is another community who are interested into craft. Entrepreneurs are in third community, which are also working for this sector. Then you have brands, then you have organizations. So one of the problems is, a lot of creative people are there, right? And they do very good products. But point is, one person cannot do everything, right? It's a fact of the matter, and therefore, the organizational model comes in place. Now they make excellent products, but what about, there is a very interesting definition which I remember, when we started design management program at NID. Design management, two contrasting words, opposite words. So it had two contexts, right? The first context is, are you teaching management to designers or you are teaching design to managers?
Why can't we replicate Amul's story here? Now, Amul's story, farmers are here to produce milk, and farmers association is running that platform, right? Similar way, why can't we have a platform of that kind for artisans, where exactly same like Amul, where Amul supplies feed to farmers to produce milk, and they also get them the best breed of cows, and then they purchase all the milk. You have never seen farmers throwing milk on street today. We have seen farmers throwing vegetables on street, fruits on street, because they are not getting produced, the best price. But then we have never seen that happening with milk, because there is constant demand, there is stable price, things like that. Similar thing can be done for artisans as well. Only then, today, the amount of money we pay for foreign brands.
I mean, a GI product, GI tag product is an original product, right? That's the simple point. But why do some technology company try to create unnecessary, kind of cumbersome approaches? I mean, what do you say?
It should be simple. It should be simple, and it should be comfortable for that community. You should not make their life, cumbersome, complicated, because they stay away when it is complicated. What used to make Amazon, Flipkart looks great is the collections, the options they had. But now, in the ONDC world, every player will have that, which in turn will take away the monopoly in this space, the 2-3 players who are doing it. Artisans can list their products on your platform, which means their inventory is available now on every platform connected to ONDC. So you just worry about one side.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But do you think that it sounds like a dream?
No, I think the best part here is, see, this is where government has done some great thing, right? In terms of NPCI, UPI also, government didn't depend on their officers or bureaucrats to execute it.
That's incredible. So with this, I just want to open to, few questions we have from audience. Why don't we start with, Linda from World Craft Council on craft and technology.
So for the future of craft, technology needs to be integrated. And I'm just talking now to YSG, who's on the Communication Strategy Committee, and he is saying it just has to happen. There has to be a future for the craft. And many years ago, I was working at UNESCO. We were working with the MIT Multimedia Lab, and we were doing a Digi Arts project. And my job was actually to connect with all the universities and schools and organizations worldwide. And that was in order to have an international music platform where everyone's different music styles were integrated and were brought in under one roof, more or less. So the same exponential rate. So everything you're talking about is so incredibly important. And the traditional craftsmen really, through people like you, through people like YSJ, will create this new future for selling crafts, creating crafts, transmitting the future of the crafts, looking backwards into the past.
In fashion industry, luxury products are always either Italian, French. People do not consider that Indian handicraft is at par with that. And majority of the luxury brands in the tech sector, tech industry, massively. So what can Indian handicraft sector can learn from that and implement it in that sector?
So I think in the farming sector, we say that if the farming sector grows by 1%, manufacturing grows by 4%, and services sector grows by 10%. The reason we say that is because that's how the value chain is being built. Like people say, Hollywood promoted the Western culture to the world. So we expected Bollywood to promote Indian culture to the world. But that didn't happen. It is reversed. Right? Similar way, we should leverage, I think, the government intervention also. But then when we say that government intervention, then it will again have a different, if government intervenes in Bollywood or things like that, that will have a different narrative altogether. But at least here, that soft power has to be leveraged to promote these things. So now Khadi, just because some of our most respected people start wearing Khadi, automatically Khadi gets that. So you go to Kerala, I think we should learn a lot from Kerala. Even their airports are built that. So I think we are actually shying away from, we literally shy, we have that shyness in promoting our culture. That has to stop. Only then, because see, 1.4 billion people promoting something will obviously become the next trend. But we are not doing that. And incidentally, India also, we have got such a diverse culture. There's so much which is happening. So if everybody starts promoting it, things will automatically pick up.
गांधी जी ने बताया था कि 70%, 75% of India stays in the villages. So make villages smart. Do not make it like smart India or mega cities. We do not require metros. We do not require metros. I'm pretty sure about it because Singapore has best of metros. We have best of we have hands. We have history of crafts, textiles, anything like spices, cottons and sheets and everything. So we should handcash on that instead of going towards the metro cities. It's the smart villages. So
Absolutely.
This is the concept.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
We should go back to villages. Make these villages smart villages.
And it's कारीगर तो करेंगे, but it's you, me, he. We have to speak to the consumers because consumers should respect it instead of कारीगर के बच्चे जाके, because you need to make them understand what consumer thinks about themselves because they do not know. ऐसा ये काम पछात नहीं है ये. It is amazing the work he does. It's like an art piece, so he can sell it जैसे artist करता है story. So the same is with the craft, but it's about the consumer. जो इंडिया का consumer है वो इतना educated नहीं. So it's also about the consumer as well.
We will end with the final and last question, Sudhir. It is, of course, you've shared such important insights. But in terms of technology, right? So there are ladders here. People who are not at all aware of technology. People are some aware of technology. People who use technology very efficiently. And people who are actually technocrats, these are the different ladders. So in each of the ladder, right, as a Freedom App, as a company, how do you think that you're going to address, these 4 ladders and in what manner?
See, our approach is very simple. If I tell you do this, people will not do. If I tell you that, okay, hey, see this person, look at this guy, he's doing it, because of that he's living a better life, why don't you copy him? Then they easily start adopting it. So what we are trying to do now is, we are identifying such exceptionally successful people in the craft space, artisans who have embraced technology, who have built that bridge with the rest of the world, and we are now showcasing such people to others. And I think the Freedom Award also is thought through in the similar way. So this person, he was into ivory painting. He's an artisan. And then he started seeing big demand for his work. Then he thought, why not other crafts as well? Then he brought together hundreds of such people. And now he has built a business which is selling about 40 crore worth of crafts every year. So similar way, if we can encourage more people to do that, I'm sure it will happen. So it is by showcasing such success stories to inspire people, and then requesting the same successful people to share the know-how to replicate that success is what is required, and we are doing that leveraging technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sudhir. Fantastic. What a insightful, conversation we had. And especially in the context to technology, because that is something which people fear a lot. And, that fear has to go. I mean, the first, step is the fear. If that fear goes, then you start building a relationship, friendship, and then you start adopting those, the notions. So thank you very much. It's really a pleasure having you. A huge round of applause.